What on earth are you doing, Mike?
I am trying to meditate. Trying to find my inner zen, which seems to have eluded me for a while.
You don't have an inner zen.
Yes, I also struggle to meditate. Yes. I thought if I put my fingers together and get into the seated meditation position, it will all happen.
That you might fall asleep.
Well, I probably will fall asleep. I certainly didn't meditate. I didn't leave my outer spirit and go to another spirit land, or I don't know.
That all sounds a bit weird to me.
I do struggle with the old meditation, I must admit.
Yes, and I guess we thought it would be good to have a bit of a chat about meditation, because you see it everywhere now. You know, meditation is the new, it is the new
It's
thing.
the black dress.
It's the black dress.
It's the black
Is
dress.
it the black dress?
Well,
Why
it's
is it the
it's
black dress.
it's this season's black dress. Everyone must meditate. It seems to be almost a trendy thing to do. Do you meditate? Well, of course I do, darling. Of course I meditate. It seems to be one of those things that the in crowd meditate, and I'm sure, and you're going to tell us in a minute. I'm sure there's some great reasons behind it, but I think we need to understand a bit more, Lynn. So I'm asking for your help before I try again.
Before we even, let's just talk about what, when we think about meditation. I mean, when you think about meditation, so you're a blokey bloke. We talk about this a lot.
Blokey bloke. I try to be a blokey bloke. I've got a deep voice.
Deep voice.
Blokey bloke things, yes. I am as much of a blokey bloke as I can be.
Yes, as much of a blokey bloke as you can get, some would say.
Yes.
And hence, if you think about meditation, what comes to mind for you?
Hippies sitting in a yoga pose in a circle, cross-legged, fingers touching, eyes closed, very quietly for a long time.
And what exactly are they doing?
I have no idea. That's why I can't meditate. I have no freaking idea what they're doing, because their eyes are closed, not fucking talking, so I don't know what they're saying or doing. They seem to go to another planet, and I'm confused.
Yeah.
I know it's good because they seem to float off. So they when they finish, they seem to be all calm and spiritual. So I'm sure there's benefits. But as a blokey bloke, I ain't quite seeing it yet, love.
And you don't really want the floating off sort of benefits, is that true?
And I don't want to sit in the yoga, but we're in the yoga clothes and
the cross-legged position.
Yeah, cross-legged. I could do that.
Can you do
that? Yeah.
Comfortable for you for a long time?
I could do it for a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure there's me and yoga. Me and meditation are not friends at the moment. But I'm happy to learn. It's a wellness journey. I'm on a journey, so I'm happy to learn. So tell me, convince me.
So, well, I think first of all, let's just be very clear at this point.
Back up the meditation bus.
Let's back up that meditation bus. Let's back up the purple hippie flowery bus. I'm sorry that I'm not being derogatory to anybody or any group out there, but there is I think a perception that meditation is all a bit woo-woo, and you do sit on a mat and you are in some beautiful location. You see all those photos on the internet about these people in beautiful locations with amazing sunrises, amazing sunsets. They are beautiful. Their hair is styled beautifully. They're wearing beautiful clothes. In this sort of
serene,
so very serene, in the lotus posture, as you said, the cross legs and the fingers touching on their knees and that sort of thing, and there is this ethereal feel to all of that, and I think that puts it into a category where a lot of people are put off by meditation. It's in a sort of place and space that a lot of people don't understand. And many people...
Or have access to, they can't.
Or have access to, or many people like you, or say like top executives, leaders, they just don't see the benefit, they don't see the reason, and they just don't see the fit. Because if I take a blokey bloke or a top executive in a suit, and I go over here and I look at those pretty pictures of the meditation, it just doesn't click and fit, it just doesn't feel or look right. And I think that's how people feel about meditation.
It doesn't seem very time effective. It seems like one of those things you need to do for an extended period of time, which I'm sure there's different ways. Extended period of time to do it. So it almost seems like you need to allocate a significant chunk of time to go and get into the pose and the posture and the mind, and then float away and then do the meditation and then finish off. And it's almost if you're busy to go into it busy, you're not going to be in the right space to be able to get the benefits of meditation.
But on the other hand, that's probably when you really need it. So let's just talk about why do we want to meditate, and what's our personal opinion? So I'm going to start with our personal opinion here, because I want to be very clear before we get into the episode. I'm not recommending, I'm not an advocate of sitting yourself down, taking an hour out of your busy day and trying to do this meditation that doesn't fit, it's not comfortable, it's not a comfortable posture that you don't understand, and it just doesn't feel congruent with who you are. What we're looking to do is, I do believe there are benefits and significant benefits to meditation. Those people who resist it are the people who probably need it the most.
Yes.
Right? So that's a bit of a, I'm going to repeat that. If you feel very resistant to meditation, so for those people out there right now who are listening to us thinking, yeah, I'm not interested,
Yeah.
it's not for me, it's all woo-woo, you are the people who need this. All right? And I'm going to explain why. So if you are resistant to it, and I certainly was for many, many years, probably 3/4 of my life, people like you, Mike, who just don't feel a natural fit with it, it's not a comfortable thing to do, it's a struggle. These are all the types of people who will benefit. And to be honest, almost anybody can benefit from meditation, but we're not going to go down the path of that woo-woo style of meditation. We're going to talk about some really practical ways to meditate where you can integrate it with other things and still get amazing benefit.
Done. I'll be in that.
Right.
Sold. So tell me a little bit about meditation. I guess if I was understanding and thinking about doing some meditation, I'd want to know maybe the benefits, the different types, before I made that selection.
So let's talk about meditation. So meditation is all around being able to calm yourself down, calm your mind down, be very conscious of your mind and your body. Be very present in yourself. So what do I mean by that? If you think about our daily lives, get up in the morning, we're on Facebook, we're looking at social media, our minds are immediately, we might be sitting on the toilet and we're checking our social media, we're looking at emails.
Beautiful image.
Well, it's the reality of most people's lives. I mean, think about it. Years ago, what did you do? You sat on the toilet and you read a magazine or a newspaper. And
True.
A lot of people had magazine racks on the back of their toilet door.
They did.
Right? And that was
Some still do. Mum and Dad
there you
still
go.
do.
Mum and Dad still have the magazine rack.
I go there for the old versions of the racks.
So you go to the toilet and you'd sit down comfortably with your newspaper. What do you do now? You sit down comfortably with your mobile phone and you check your social media. Right? So we've just changed the device we use, but the behaviour is still the same. So, the second you get up, you're on the toilet, you're checking your social media, you get up, you're thinking about the day. If you are one of those top executives I was talking about, you're planning your day, you're thinking about what's coming up, you're thinking about your strategy, you may have, stuff going on in the business that you're thinking about. If you're a mum, you're thinking about the kids, what are you going to get for their lunch, what are they wearing today, their clothes clean, what have they got on at school, what have you got to pack for them, how are you going to fit everything in. So from the second we get up, we are literally bombarded with information and we are caught up in all of that stuff that's going on in our lives.
True.
And our days are busy. I think there was a statistic I heard the other day, which is people in San Diego, I don't know why it was San Diego, but it was, San Diego are interrupted every 3 minutes during their day. It's every 3 minutes, they're trying to do something, they're interrupted every 3 minutes. So what that means is your mind is constantly juggling and multitasking. It's very, very good at it. But we are absolute full on the whole day, which doesn't give us a lot of time to basically sit down and tap into our mind and have a bit of space. And by space, what I mean is taking the breath and actually being able to consciously observe what thoughts you're thinking. Consciously observe what's happening in your body. So most of us have lost our mind-body connection.
Okay.
Right, so that's not woo-woo, that is just basic stuff. How am I actually feeling today? What is going on in my body? If I was to scan my body, if I was just to use my mind without touching my body, so not doing a physical touch, but if I was to use my mind and scan my body and just think about, what's feeling good, what's feeling sore, have I got any, uncomfortable joints, have I got any muscle problems? What's my heart rate like? Have I got an elevated heart rate today? Is my breathing shallow? Is my mind racing? Is there one of those thoughts going through my mind constantly all day? Have I got something nagging at the back of my brain? We've lost that ability to actually stop and observe ourselves. And that's what meditation is really all about. It's about reconnecting mind and body when and we can't do that when we're processing a million things at once. So that's why that's why we use meditation, to be able to tap in. And then it's got, some absolutely amazing benefits.
Okay.
So some of the benefits of...
Sell me, I'm ready.
Right, here we go. The first and foremost, which is the one that you'll see if you Google meditation, the thing that will come up the most, I think it's about 70% of all searches today are around stress and stress relief. Okay. What can I do for stress relief? Meditation. So what we know is that meditation is incredibly effective for stress relief.
Okay.
All right, so I'm not going to go into all the technical details because I'd be here for another couple of hours, but if you look at where technology companies have gone, they know this. They're very smart. Whether you're wearing a smart watch or a smart ring or a smart bracelet or anything like any device like that, you probably find it's got one of those monitors on it that is measuring your stress levels.
Yes.
So, happen to be wearing a Samsung watch, and it's got a little app in here which is going to tell me about my stress levels. And I can hit on measure and it'll tell me whether I'm nice and calm or if my stress has just gone through the roof. And then it's got a bit of a program in there which I can go through, do a touch of meditation, a bit of breathing, and I can bring my stress levels down so I can control my stress. So a big thing in our busy world is stress and stress relief. Good. So number one, it also, as I said, it increases self-awareness. So I talked about that mind-body connection.
Yes.
Meditation is very, very good at increasing that self-awareness. It also has a lot of benefits in terms of things like blood pressure. So I guess blood pressure and stress go hand in hand. We often see elevated blood pressure when people are stressed. So it allows you to bring the blood pressure down. Yep. It also allows you to bring your heart rate down as it happens. You can control anxiety. So there's a lot of validated studies around anxiety and how meditation is an excellent intervention to allow people to manage and control their anxiety. So really, really good for anxiety. We know that it can lengthen attention span. So an interesting one is there's a lot of research being done at the moment, lots of studies on using meditation for kids.
Yes.
Using lots of meditation in schools now for children.
Instead of detention. Yeah, make them meditate. Make the naughty ones meditate.
They'll make them all meditate, and they're finding less aggressive behaviour, less rebellious, less abusive behaviour, better attention spans, and kids generally happier and enjoying school more. So lots of studies on attention span and the benefits there. It can also help with things like age-related memory loss. So there are lots of things out there like Alzheimer's, dementia and those sort of things. Some are clinical, some are just degeneration. And meditation has been shown to improve or at least reduce the extent to which people suffer that age-related memory loss. So I, for one, would like to get that benefit because I want to make sure my mind stays sharp for as long as possible.
Yes.
So all of these benefits, and then I guess two that people may not realise. One is sleep. So meditation can actually improve sleep. It can improve your ability to get to sleep quickly and get deep and long sleep. So wonderful for sleep. And then another interesting one is pain management.
Right. Okay.
So there are, again, a lot of studies that show that rather than just popping a pain pill, that you can actually use meditation to help you manage pain. So that's quite an outstanding one. If you are suffering from chronic, debilitating, painful diseases or conditions, then meditation can actually be a way to control some of the pain that you experience.
Okay, so there are benefits, and they're not just the woo-woos.
Sure.
There are some medical and clinical and emotional and psychological and physiological benefits. So then how do I choose? Because I see people doing different types of medication.
He was a pain med.
It's the shark. So some, obviously there's meditation that is guided by an instructor. There's people who do their own meditation.
Mm-hmm.
What are the different types and what are they all sort of doing?
And there are lots of different types of meditation. So the most basic form of meditation is simply sitting comfortably. So because I want to just dispel the rumour that you have to be in a certain position. So just very, very quickly, you don't have to be in a certain position to meditate. You can stand, you can sit, you can lie down, you can cross your legs. The key is to be nice and relaxed.
Mm.
You don't want to be so relaxed that you fall asleep. Because, I know if I lie down and meditate, I probably will fall asleep.
Yes, which is not the purpose.
Which, unless I'm trying to get to sleep, is not the purpose.
Yes.
So you just want to be nice and relaxed and comfortable. You don't have to be in any posture. Like I said, you can even stand up if you want to. So because you can stand up, it means you can do this anywhere at any time. You can go to the bathroom at work and have a couple of minutes of meditation.
You're focused on bathrooms.
I'm on a bathroom journey. You can be on the train or the bus and do some meditation. The only place you don't want to do this is if you're operating heavy machinery, you're swimming, you are driving. You can meditate when you're running. You can meditate when you're walking. So there's lots of opportunities to meditate, and you don't have to sit yourself down in a quiet room and do the whole, Zen thing. In terms of types, let me come back to that. I wandered off.
Really?
Really, me? So
it's your meditation mind.
It's my very noisy mind. So the most basic form of meditation is simply focusing on your breathing. And all you do in that type of what we call focused meditation is you simply focus on the breath going in and out. You don't try and control it. You don't try and change it. You don't try and lengthen it, shorten it. Don't do anything with it. Just really feel the breath.
Okay.
So I usually say to people, close your eyes, because if you've got your eyes closed, you're not being distracted, with what's around you. And then you're simply following the breath. So if I close my eyes and...
I can do that.
And what I'm focusing on is I'm really focusing on that breath, all the sensations of that breath going up into my nostrils. I can feel it around my top lip, feel the breath going in. Where does it go? Does it go down into my tummy or is it just in my chest? And then I feel the sensation of the breath coming out. Don't have to touch it. I can feel the sensation. So I'm using my mind to connect to my breath. So I just follow my breath.
Okay. That's focused meditation.
It's just focused meditation.
Great.
Now there are two types there when we're doing that. You can either try and control your thoughts. So some people believe that you should control your thoughts and stop your chattering mind. Right, so your mind's chattering away, and that's because we've got three brains, and this is the thinking brain. All right, the thinking brain is the one that is the outermost brain. It's the one that does all of our logical thinking. It's the one that operates most of the time. It's the one we're conscious of. So when we've got those little internal thoughts,
yes,
that's our thinking brain. It's chattering away at us. So we're doing our breathing and the brain's chattering away.
And a lot of time we think that's wrong, don't we?
We do.
We think that we should be focused and we should be able to quiet the thinking brain. And it's not that easy to do, and you don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it.
Okay, good.
So one school of thought is just allow the brain to wander, think, do whatever it wants to do.
Yes.
Just try and focus on the breathing, but let the brain wander. Right, so that's the first type. The second type is focus on the breathing, but this time do try and control the mind. So instead of allowing it to go off on, I've got to get the kids' lunches prepared, no, take that thought. Imagine just wrapping a little piece of string and putting it on a cloud and allow it to float off on the cloud.
Yes.
That thought's gone. Back to the breathing. Another thought pops in your head. Grab it, allow it to float off on a cloud. Back to the breathing. Many people find that style of meditation much harder.
Yes.
But it's good to try. It's good to try the two. The one where your mind wanders, and the one where you stop it wandering. So it's not that you're not saying stop, stop, stop. You're just allowing thought to come and go and come back to the breathing. Every time, just come back to the breathing. So all we're doing in that focused breathing is just focusing on the breathing.
Okay, interesting.
The other types are types where we perhaps are scanning the body. So we may be doing one of those sort of exercises where we focus on different parts of the body. And, again, there are lots of varieties, whether you're following the chakras, whether you're, which is the yogic system, whether you're following the Kundalini energy, many, many types. But in essence, all we're doing is connecting our mind to our body. So I might, and a good example, I might be sitting here right now, and we can all do this together. I simply close my eyes and I think about my fingers, right? So my fingers right now, my fingers are just in the air. They're not touching anything. I've got my eyes closed. I can't see my fingers. My fingers are not touching anything, so I can't physically feel them. But I just focus really hard on my fingers, especially my fingertips. And if I don't move, and I sit very still, what do you feel? If you do that for a few minutes, you actually feel like a tingling.
Yep.
And that tingling is, whether you want to say it's the blood flow, so most of us would just say, well, that's the blood flowing, that's fine, that's the blood flowing, it is. Or whether you are a believer in energy, and that we're energy bodies, then you can feel the energy. If you're following like a Chinese system like Qigong, you'd say that's the Qi, it's the energy again. So whatever you believe, that electrical feeling, electricity, that tingling, you are connecting and you're feeling your fingers without them touching anything.
Yes.
Now, I can scan my entire body, piece by piece, and feel every bit of my body without touching it.
Yes.
So that sort of meditation, again, is allowing us to connect our mind to our body again. We've lost that connection. So there's another type. And then you've got all sorts of others where yogis will do a lot of mantras. And that's where, so I might say to I might have a mantra which is, my mind is strong, my body is strong, I am healthy. So that's a little mantra. And I might just close my eyes and I might just focus. I might say it out loud. I might focus my mind on my mantra. And again, that's another way of stopping that mind going crazy and my mind going off on a busyness.
Yes.
And just coming back to, like we do with the breath, coming back to a series of words.
Cool. So there's a variety of different meditation styles. And I think we find that a lot of people who are into meditation or they're quite wedded to or quite opinionated about their style of meditation. So everyone seems to find their particular meditation, and it seems to be the one that works for them. So if you look at what works for you, you're not a meditator, but you do, and we do use another method to achieve the same benefits you can get from meditation.
And I guess, let me just talk about my meditation experience and why I do this, because I've dipped in and out of meditation my whole life. And I've tried all sorts of different types. And, first of all, you've got to understand a little bit about yourself when you go to meditation. So when you start on your meditation journey, you may simply use an app. Yes. You might be just wanting to control your stress, highly stressed, you've got a job interview coming up, you might use your app and do a bit of breathing, and that may be enough for you.
Yep.
And that's awesome.
Yep.
Right. If you want to go deeper, then you may explore different types of meditation. So certainly over my life, I've done things like, I've gone to meditation groups because I've been told about the amazing benefits of meditation. So I have from time to time gone to these groups where they've done what for me feel like very out there type of meditation practices. Bearing in mind, I came from a really practical engineering background. So I'm a chemical engineer by university degree. I worked in industry. I worked in maintenance and all those sort of things for many, many years, engineering companies, large oil companies. And these were traditional male-dominated environments.
So you're virtually a hippie.
Yes, I'm probably as far from a hippie as you can get.
All right.
So, I came from that world, being told meditation is great and you should try meditation. So off I went, and I can remember going to groups where we sat on the ground in a group.
Yes.
Everybody, fingers together, hands on the knees. I had no idea why my fingers were together and what that was doing. I know that I don't sit comfortably in a cross-legged position, so I would be damned uncomfortable for an hour, hour and a half. Some of these groups went on for 2 hours, And I would sit there while we would do these guided meditations or long chanting sessions or dinging of bells, and I didn't understand them. I simply didn't understand what the hell was going on. And probably the worst one I did, and I did a lot of yoga practices. I don't mind too much, but the worst one I did was in China. So having tried lots of different groups in countries all around the world as I travelled and as I went on my journey of life, I ended up in China at one point, and I went to this meditation group, and it was all in Chinese. And I'd done 3 or 4 yoga sessions with this group during the week and loved them. It was power yoga, so very dynamic, very hard yoga, and just suited my sort of personality. And I went along, I said, oh, you've got a meditation, great, I'll go along to that. So I paid my money, went along, and I got into this room. As I said, the instructor didn't speak any English, it was all in Mandarin Chinese, and there's about 30 of us there. So took my shoes off, followed everybody else, got a yoga mat, sat down, and they darkened the room, and then what they did was they put a candle in the middle of the room. And they basically said, stare at the candle. So this is one of the types of focus meditation where you focus on an object external to yourself, and
Yes.
you've got your singular focus on that object. So I spent an hour staring at a candle with my eyes open and, really staring at the candle. I'm not really sure, I still didn't get what I was meant to be feeling. I didn't know whether I was meant to be seeing something. Would the candle suddenly, explode in flames or something? But what I do know is I really hurt my sight, because when I next went to the optician, he diagnosed some problems with my right eye. And we tracked it back to spending an hour or whatever just staring at this candle in a hot, darkened room and not blinking. So, I've gone from the bizarre to the ridiculous. I've tried all these forms. And what you really have to do is you have to find something that works for you. So
Absolutely.
What works for me and what works for us, and what we teach a lot of people, and especially executives in this case, is meditation in 2 or 3 forms. And the first is during breathing.
Absolutely.
So our morning routine incorporates breathing. So on a morning, my morning routine has about a 20 to 30 minute breathing sequence in it. I might only have time for 5 minutes some days. So let's say somewhere between 5 and 30 minutes. And I do a specific form of structured breathing, which allows me to do deep belly breaths and periods where I hold my breath. And what I'm doing when I'm doing that breathing is I'm working very hard to follow my breath. So it's the breath following. I'm following my breath, and I'm focusing all my attention on my breath in and my breath out. And then when I'm retaining my breath, I'm following what's happening in my body. So in that breathing exercise, I'm changing the alkalinity in my body. I'm becoming more alkaline. I'm super saturating my cells and my tissues with oxygen. I'm tapping into the deepest part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, which is the brain stem. I'm going into the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the endocrine system, and I'm really getting really deep into the central nervous system. I'm strengthening the immune system. So I'm really focusing on deep inside me. I'm getting away from that top level of the brain, that third brain, the thinking brain. I'm going down into the third brain, the deepest one, the reptilian brain, and down into the brain cell. Now, the stem cell. Now, that isn't hard for me to do because I'm following a structured breathing technique.
Yes.
So I'm a very logical person. It's very structured. I've got a process to follow. I do 30 breaths and then I hold my breath.
Yes.
30 breaths and I hold. That in itself is an amazing meditation. And when I stop my breathing, I have this amazing razor-sharp clarity of mind and a huge energy burst. So that's my first.
And I would add to that, because I obviously do the same or similar routine, and it's probably the only time, and I've tried medication. I've tried lots of medication, some drugs. I've tried meditation many times, but never really got into it and felt like I was going through the motions, and sort of finished the class, the program, and felt like I was almost they're under false pretenses.
Yes.
I didn't get
exactly
what everyone else got. Everyone else
Yeah.
looked glowing and sort of drifting off, and I was kind of like, I was here with you, but I don't think I
and
got what you guys said.
talking
all
about their
talk about-
amazing
yes,
experience,
yes.
and you don't feel it, right?
So I've tried meditation many times, didn't get that sort of feeling that I had connected to anything other than, just being in the room. But when I started incorporating the breathing, it's probably the only time that I've really felt that absolute silence and the singular focus on the breathing. And then with the breath hold, which you talk about at the end of the breathing cycle, the singular focus on holding the breath, retaining the breath, controlling, thinking about my heart rate, bringing my heart rate down, controlling. So it's one of the few times when my mind has been singularly focused on one particular internal activity and there is no noisy brain.
Yes.
And it's almost like you're wearing noise-cancelling headphones.
Yep.
Everything else is gone and there's a single focus on what's going on in that moment.
Yes.
And that is pure meditation. Without trying to meditate,
Yes.
just by going through the structured process, you end up in a meditative state.
Yes.
Because you've got there by breathing and by activating the body without actually trying to meditate.
And because it's not, because you're not trying to do something that doesn't feel right.
Yes.
You're simply breathing.
Yeah.
And there is that logical component of, I know this breathing is going to give me some more energy.
Yeah.
I'm going to get clarity of mind. You're not thinking about meditating. You're simply thinking about the benefit of the breathing. So it's a really good fit for people who don't or can't meditate.
Yes.
And you mentioned heart rate, and I think that's a really good example. My typical heart rate is around 60 beats a minute. When I sit and meditate, it usually comes down to about 45 beats a minute.
Yep.
So that immediately shows you that there is a massive drop in heart rate, a corresponding drop in stress, blood pressure,
everything
else. So I'm getting those benefits, but I'm not doing meditation. I'm just doing some breathing exercises.
So that's the first time, and the second time?
Second part of my morning routine is I do some cold exposure.
Yes.
And I either take an ice bath, if I've got access to an ice bath, or I take a cold dip or even just a cold shower. And when I'm doing that, because I'm in extreme cold, especially when I'm in the ice bath, you have to focus. You have to focus really hard, because what you're trying to do is, again, you're trying to control the body with the mind. So you're trying to use your mind, right? And again, to bring the heart rate down, to bring the breathing down. And again, you're trying to tap into the central nervous system and to basically boost the immune system and get all the benefits of cold exposure without getting hypothermia.
Yes.
So that, again, extreme focus on your internal self is allowing you to get that mind-body connection. So again, when I'm in the water, when I'm in the cold water, I will do exactly that little exercise we just did a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Where I sit there, I feel the cold. So I first acknowledge the cold. This water is icy cold and I can feel it. But then I start to use my mind to tell my body, it's okay, I'm warm. I'm warm, let's feel my hands. So then I say to myself, I can feel my hands. So again, my hands are not touching anything, but I just focus on, I've got my eyes closed, I focus on my fingers. And instead of allowing my fingers to get cold, I start to say to myself, let the capillaries open up, let the veins open up, let the blood flow to my hands. Because obviously when you're in cold, everything closes up.
Yes.
And especially the hands, and I get really cold hands. So just allow those veins and capillaries to open up, allow the blood to flow, and I start to feel the pulsing in my hands.
Like you just did with the tingling.
Exactly like we did with the tingling. Instead of my hands going icy cold, I can actually keep my hands warm just using my mind.
Yes.
Now, that's taken me a long time to develop that skill, but I can do that. I can do it with my feet. And then I really go deep, and again I go deep and I just think about staying warm, staying calm, staying in control. So that's my second form of meditation, because again I'm having to go deep into my body. I've got to have that extreme self-awareness, and I'm using my mind to control my body, and I'm controlling what are normally subconscious processes.
Yes.
So again, I'm tapping into that reptilian brain, the stem cells, the central nervous system that we would normally say, or we've said in the past, couldn't be controlled because it was autonomic.
So I guess to summarise, there's obvious benefits if you can achieve a meditative state. So if you can achieve meditation, And if you can successfully connect with your mind body, if you can achieve that state that is meditation, there is some significant benefits. But there's a lot of different ways to get there. And
Absolutely.
some people are not suited to the sitting down cross-legged traditional approach to meditation, and some people prefer to focus on something else, and meditation will come.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different ways to do it, but I guess the takeaway is the benefits are there. You've got to find your zen, and you've got to find a way to get into that meditation state, and then enjoy the benefits.
Absolutely right. So take a bit of time. Remember, it's a long game.
Yes.
So meditation is one of those things, especially that you will try. I tried for years and 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 years before I found one that worked. Try a few different types. There are some amazing benefits, so it's really worth persisting.
Yes.
Find something that works, and then even when you start, I can almost guarantee that 80% of people won't feel any benefit for weeks because it's hard. It's actually one of the hardest things that we teach is meditation.
Absolutely.
Because we're so resistant to it. But remember what I said at the beginning? What I said at the beginning of the episode was those people out there, and I hope you're still listening and watching, because if you are, this is for you. If you're resistant, if you're thinking meditation's not for me, if you're thinking I've tried it and just like you, Mike, I've never got the same feeling that anybody else has felt, then you really do need meditation and you'll benefit. Persist, try it for at least 30 days, and at the end of 30 days of consistent practice, even if it's only 5 minutes a day, you might just find you've achieved something that you couldn't achieve on day one. So persist, it's a long game, keep going, and you'll get some benefit eventually.
It's even good for blokey blokes.
It's even good for blokey blokes.